Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. It's Seth and Paul. Remember last podcast I said it's the Seth Cristiano podcast?
Yeah, that was funny.
That was freaking awesome. Good morning to you, my dear friend Paul. How
are you, Seth?
Recovering from
We're getting a lot of requests from people, like, when are you coming out with stuff?
It was an interesting weekend. We're amid the virus. Why does Trump have to call it a Chinese virus? But he does.
Does he call it Chinese virus?
Oh, yeah. Of course, Asian Americans all over just tweeting about how crazy this
guy is. You mean the Orientals?
Oh, Paul. Did you just...
What do we do here?
Okay. Yeah. So, I was amongst a comment. Nice, Paul. I was amongst a comment thread where someone just posted, "Hey, listen, I don't know if I'm like a doomsday prepper, but from 0 to 10, I'm at a 9."
Are you really?
No, not me. On Facebook, and it just led to this barrage of people saying that they're gathering ammunition, martial law, like this could be it.
What does it mean?
I have no idea. So I literally wrote, and these are some of my great friends. I literally wrote, so I'm a little confused. Just paint me a picture where I'm going to have to load a firearm and fire it into another human being in the next couple weeks. And it followed with people saying, do you think the French were looking to get taken over in the 40s?
In the 40s?
Well, yeah.
Like Germany?
Yes.
Is this literally what we're comparing it to?
And so it just goes off while people are like, well, look, if you don't like guns, then hornet spray shoots 20 feet and can mess people up. So that's a lot less dangerous.
That is true.
And then they're saying, talk to your neighbors.
Don't you have a gun?
No.
Oh, I don't either.
Talk to your neighbors. If you hear my air horn, that means someone's breaking into my house. It's a whole... So, meanwhile, all this is being played out. And look, some people live in some crazy-ass places. I have friends in Baltimore that are like, yeah, you don't want to live where I live. This is bad. And
really?
And then, so after all this stuff, people are just like, okay, talk about the cash. They're going to raid this, and people are coming and get the guns. And it's amazing how many people will just say the idea of yeah, I can just shoot somebody. So someone from Canada is just like this. Someone from Canada just wrote, "This is the most fucked up conversation I've ever seen. I don't know what's wrong with you people." Because my point of all this is they're saying in Wuhan, skies have cleared up. People can see the blue skies.
Yeah.
There's peace. In Italy, you see the videos. They're playing instruments to each other.
Yeah.
Only in America.
I wouldn't say only in America, but go ahead.
People are like usual, like Black Friday shopping. They're tearing into each other at Walmart's and Costco's.
There's also other countries where they take soccer so seriously that they kill players.
People,
so it's not just only in America. I don't remember the last time we killed. We didn't kill LeBron when he left Cleveland the first time.
That one soccer match. Was it Iraq or Iran? One soccer match, 77 people were killed at a soccer match.
No, I'm talking about. I think there was one in Mexico where where the soccer player accidentally scored on their own team and they found him later and killed him. Yeah, they're just like, yeah, you got to go.
It's tough. But you brought up. So I've been seeing a lot of interesting things out there. The blame game is happening a lot. Who's to blame? Obviously, they're blaming the president. As much as I was never a huge fan of Mike DeWine, it seems like he's doing an okay job getting in front of this and getting doctors behind him who are saying interesting things.
Sure.
What have you seen any of that? Him talking?
Yeah, I have not. I don't. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Well, he brings on I guess a lady who's been sort of a heroed nowadays.
Heroine?
Yeah, I guess so. It's I can't remember her dang name, but she's a doctor. I just said
dang. Is it because she's female?
I don't know. I've never heard of her, but she's been on the press conferences with DeWine, and she's very informative. I find in these times when the politicians jump on, I really just want the people who look really smart behind them talking, like some of the doctors telling me what's up. But a lot of people are big fans of this new woman who's stepping up, especially in Ohio, and laying the groundwork for what needs to be done.
Ohio's leading the way in terms of shutting shit down, bro.
Yeah. And so, the blame game is on. People blaming each side, people blaming China, and it's quite absurd, isn't it?
I saw the updated numbers, 183,000 confirmed cases in the world and 7,100 deaths. So that's a little under 4%.
183,000 cases?
Yeah,
cases. That seems like a lot, yeah.
Well, it seems like a lot, but how many countries has it been in? It's been in...
Wouldn't you assume most?
Yeah, that's what I would assume too. So we're talking about, listen, it's going to grow. It's going to get worse. It's going to be bad. But although China supposedly contained it, at first I thought it was a bullshit story from China, but the factories are back. We got emails from our factory guys saying, hey, we're back.
I heard that too. I heard people they're lifting travel bans in China. Things are getting better. But then I'm also hearing that there are also people in China who recovered from it and are getting it again somehow.
Yeah. I heard that the second time. Hey, Don, can I have a Coke Zero by chance? Thanks, bro.
And then I'm like, well, we were talking about with some family yesterday. Like, has it hit India? Because that would be another stew pot of a zillion people really close to each other.
Yeah, I don't know.
I read like 114 cases in India, but obviously the confirmed rate would be much, much slower in some of these.
Yeah, like Mexico. They're like, oh, Mexico's not getting any cases. Yeah, because they're not testing for anybody.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing is people are saying is the confirmed cases are ramping up because they're ramping up testing. So I don't know if that makes me feel any better, but like.
Yeah, I mean, the plus side of that is now the more we find out who has it, it's more likely it's to be contained. But, these famous people are getting it. They're all surviving just fine. And most people are doing just fine. It's, I think I saw, and I don't know if it was just, I guess the oldest survivor now is 103 years old. Somebody who's 103 survived, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, but listen, it's tough out there. I got worried for the first time yesterday, not for coronavirus, for the economy.
Yeah.
I really got scared. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I really just got like, oh my God.
Talk about the markets and your thoughts about it.
Well, last night, so yesterday we dropped 12% S&P. Last night it got to plus 5% in futures. This morning it was down, and now it is not. It's 10:02 a.m. and the Dow is down 1%. The S&P is down 0.4% from up 5% futures yesterday. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty incredible, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of it anymore. I mean, you've had your eye on it more than I think normal folks.
So let me repeat what I've always said. From day one, I've said there will be something that causes stocks to go down. Everyone will blame that thing. It's like the last fight in divorce. It's not that last fight that caused it. It's the last fight that caused everybody go, you know what, this isn't foundationally good. Now, with coronavirus, it's going to affect the economy. People aren't even factoring in the economic blowback yet. People think they're factoring it in. No, they're not. New York yesterday had its biggest decline ever in its manufacturing index. Biggest decline ever. Oh, thank you. You can toss it.
Open that one first. Switch me.
So we have all these things that are happening. I mean, we're hearing about. I heard about a company yesterday in Cleveland. I won't mention who it is. Closed its doors. So we're done. Not even like, hey, temporarily. It's like restaurants are closing like crazy. I mean, I've heard just crazy stories about what people have. I mean, it's going to be bad. It is going to be bad, and people haven't even factored that in the stock market yet. It's going to be bad. All I would recommend anybody is don't spend money that you don't need to spend. Just make sure you're saving it for the right things. It's going to be a tough go for a while. We're going to have a recession. It's probably going to be pretty. Now, I do think they're going to go. I mean, they're already talking about Trump already suggested $850 billion today in stimulus, which I was surprised it was that low. Like I thought he was going to come in higher.
Describe what that is for normal.
They want to just
like
give
me.
people money. Here's money.
Where's the money coming from?
Us in the future. It's borrowing from the future. It's more debt. Just like
More
everything.
debt.
Just like everything, it's more debt. Listen.
Who is the debt going to?
Well, us as a country.
Where do they literally get? What bank is loaning us $1 trillion?
Oh no, it's not banks. The U.S. is issuing. The U.S. will issue bonds. People will give them the money. They'll go spend the money on that one. Give the money to us.
I see.
And then eventually it'll be paid back. Hopefully.
I sent this over to you yesterday. I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
Which one was it?
All that's going to happen. Okay. What do you need when you don't have a job?
Oh, Grant.
You need cash flow.
F this guy. I didn't want to hear it.
This was yesterday. I sent this over to Paul. I figured
What
you
is
guys
the best use of our money to invest during this pandemic?
I've been telling you for a year now. Sell.
If you're investing, how much money are you sitting on, Zach?
10 grand.
Let's say 10 grand.
10,000. First of all, I would tell everybody right now, if you have money in an ETF, if you have money in the stock market, a mutual fund, I would get all that money out. If you got money in a retirement account, I have been telling you guys for how long
and it's getting
now?
crushed right now.
Oh my
For
God,
1 year,
it's
I've
getting
been telling
crushed.
you guys.
1 year I've been saying it.
This is Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone's a loser. Here's why. He is the blind squirrel who found a nut. Great. He's been saying it for a year. If he's only been saying it for a year, it means he doesn't understand valuation. He doesn't understand investing. Great. Congratulations, you said that. He's also trying to promote people to buy real estate. Look at a guy like me. I have real estate and stocks and businesses. Shouldn't you listen to a guy like me because I have an unbiased opinion? Like, listen, I'm going to take a hit in any way I go.
He's telling people to sell their retirement EFTs.
ETFs. I don't know.
ETFs.
He's selling. If you have any mutual funds, stocks, everything, sell it all.
What about the penalty and all that?
Well, if you keep it, as long as you keep it inside the retirement account, you're okay. I think. Man, what does Grant Cardone know? You're still going to play?
Get out of the stock market, man.
God, fuck you, Grant.
Get out. I've been telling you guys over and over. I don't want to like, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. Like, it's up today. I'll promise you next week it will be down again.
We've hit next week.
Yeah. I mean, listen, great. Congratulations. He's 6% better than 0%. Really? That same argument is the reason why people are losing money right now. That's the exact, his 6% better than 0% is exactly the reason why we have bubbles. Exactly the reason why we have crashes.
I can't help but think like how many weeks ago life was just fine.
4 weeks ago.
We were planning vacations.
5 weeks ago.
Like
my biggest statement's been for the last week.
Go ahead.
If I had told you a month ago this was going to happen, I've been asking everybody that. If I told you a month ago this was going to happen, what would you have thought? Like, oh my God, I thought Armageddon or something. Like, yeah. This is nuts. This has gone way crazier than I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to be a slow decline. I didn't think it was going to happen this fast.
Yeah.
That's
it seems like a lot of small business owners are obviously freaking out.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But this is exactly why we reiterate, like, when you're a business owner, you need to have a stockpile of cash. You need to be able to keep your expenses in check. That way, you need to go make sure you get higher margin items, higher margin product and services. That way you can sell a lot less, but still make your ends meet. Like Seth, look at your wedding business. You have a very high margin, right? If you have to cut your price in half, you'll still get weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll suck. You'll make less money. You have to do more work to make the same amount of money, but wouldn't you rather have that than not being able to pay your bills?
We had our first cancellation, so.
Really?
We have 15 weddings here, and we had our first cancellation yesterday for.
Now, did they cancel?
They don't even know, but the wedding, us getting paid and the wedding going on is not happening.
Not even being delayed?
They don't know what to do, some of them.
When's that wedding?
April 11th.
Oh, makes sense.
And there's another one in April and a couple in May.
Yeah, I don't like this. I was expecting this to be a lot slower and just grind people out and grind people down. This has been like a very dramatic drop. It's gonna be tough. But can I make a comment?
Go on.
This is why we need to just, as much as I hate to say it, if we'd done the right thing in 08 and 09 and let businesses fail and do that stuff, we wouldn't have this right now.
You think?
Yes, I know, because this is what happens. When you kick the can down the road and you're like, oh, the government's there to bail us out, where were you taught to be cautious and conservative?
Elaborate on that. What do you mean? I mean, tell me again the story.
We didn't teach anybody to be, what we taught people in 08 and 09 was, daddy will bail you out. Go do whatever you need to do, take whatever risk you want, and daddy will bail you out. That's what we learned in 08 and 09. The country does better in the long run when we're more conservative, when we take appropriate risk. But when our risk is, oh, we fuck up big time, the government will come pay us. You better believe the government's going to bail out the airline industry, government's going to bail out cruise lines, government's going to bail out small business owners, etc. They're going to do it.
Yeah.
Is that right or wrong? You can make the argument both ways. It's right in the short term, it's wrong in the long term. But how do you tell it to somebody who's going to lose their job for 6, 7, 8, 9 months and not be able to do anything? Yep, I get it. But what's going to happen later? It's going to lead to higher taxes on everyone. Don't think for a second it's not going to trickle down to everybody. Not necessarily higher taxes, but those higher taxes on higher earners are going to trickle down to the low income earners. You better believe that. It's just, there's no way about it. There's no way around it. I love how people try to come up with these voodoo numbers of like, oh, if we do this, okay, sounds good. Don't get pissed later then. Just like 08, 09.
Yeah, I'm probably on Facebook too much because like, they have to drum up so much, they have to drum up so many talking points. Literally, it's like, would you be in favor of everyone getting $1,000? Romney's plan. It's like, who's going to,
You'd be surprised how much $1,000 helps though.
But my point is like, now that I've talked to you for 4 years, I now think, well, who's paying for that?
Yeah, who's going to pay for it?
Who's paying for all this?
I don't know, Seth. This is like this is like scary stuff to me.
I asked you about mortgage rates. What happened to mortgage rates?
What do you mean what happened?
I thought they got lowered drastically or something.
They went down, but they're not going to go down as much as people think they're going to go down.
No?
Yeah, because banks, like, it's the same thing. I look at it in the commercial side. Our commercial mortgage, all that's happened is the bank increased their spread. They're like, yeah, we're not going to go lower than this number. Even if our cost rate goes down, we're still not going to charge you anything less than X. People still want to make their money, especially now. Banks are going to be like, listen, we got to conserve our money. We got to make sure we make our money.
So what was the topic you texted me yesterday?
All right, so I've had a lot of people in passing say to me, how's business going right now? And I say, we're very fortunate. When times are tough, we do better. And you know what 50% of them say?
Well, before you get to that,
yeah,
why is that the case?
Well, we're going to be in growth mode. We can buy more assets. We can expand our businesses when times are tough.
Why were you ready for that? How were you ready for that?
We just stockpiled cash, and I wasn't buying into the stock market. So the interesting part is about half the people, and when I say half, it's maybe 40%, maybe 60%. It's around half. You know what they say to me? Oh, that makes sense. Prices are lower. You can make more money. So they get the concept. Half the people understand, and I'm not talking about geniuses here. I'm talking about regular people. Half of them understand the concept, but they don't do it. That's what makes investing hard. It's hard when for 4 years I was told I was wrong by every Dick, Joe, and Jane, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go out there and do the opposite of what everybody's doing.
Absolutely.
That's what makes investing hard. The concepts are super easy. The concepts of investing are easy. I literally say that to people, and half of them say, like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Sure.
Prices are lower, you make more money. Yeah. And it's funny because I'm just like, first person said it, I was like, oh, yeah, they get it. Second person said it, I was like, huh. Third person was like, what the hell? These people get this. Everyone understands this concept.
Yes.
It just shows me how difficult investing is because it's not about the actual numbers and data. It's about the emotional side of saying, I'm okay with my neighbor making 30% while I make 4%. That's impossible. Mm-hmm. I won't get into it right now, but we have a close friend whose father-in-law lost a lot of money last year because he was retired and he was sick of all his friends at the pool saying how much money they were making. And he put a lot of money in stocks, and now it's hurting him. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. That's what it is.
I still have, I had a conversation with a friend who is a Tesla fanboy like me and still thinks that Tesla is a great stock with tons of growth. And
great.
It's not all about numbers.
Profit? Oh, good. Then we have, that just shows me we haven't gone low enough.
He said they're in growth mode.
We haven't gone low enough.
And how long did Amazon go without making profit?
Yeah, but at least Amazon wasn't worth 4 times more than Walmart at that time. When they started to get close to it, I was like, hang on a second, guys.
So what you've instilled in me about like the concepts, like I showed my son Gio, a 9-year-old, Tesla stock price at 442 yesterday, and he just goes, yes, come on, all right. He just feels great about it.
Because he sold.
So then he starts saying, well, we got to figure out what he wants to buy. He said, I want to buy Walmart.
No.
That's what he said.
Did you see Walmart stock, by the way?
I don't know anything about it, but
Walmart stock, February 19th, the peak was at 117. Yesterday, it fell $7 to 109. Like, it has gone down 0.
Explain that to me.
I mean, people go to safety when these bad times happen. Even Amazon's not down that much. I mean, it's down a lot. Don't get me wrong, but it's down a lot. But
it's under. It's like 16 something.
Let's see. It's 17.49 today. It's up $60 today. Let's see Tesla stock. Oh my God. Down another 8%, 409.
409.
Yeah.
So people online are still saying, well, it gets down to 300. I'm going to rebuy.
Great. And these are the things so let's talk about the psychology of investing.
Go ahead.
We need to have people getting suckered back in. That's why I don't believe we're going to go straight down. I think we're going to go back up to, we're going to gain back 20%. I think we're going to go back up to 3,000 or somewhere close to there because we need to get the people back in going, this is good. See, you buy, it goes back, and then boom, again. Then you lose people going, oh crap, wait a second. This didn't happen before.
Really? You think?
Oh yeah. We have to, listen, you don't go straight down, you don't straight up. There has to be fluctuations. The only thing I say is we had not seen the GDP numbers yet. Those come out in like 3 or 4 weeks. That's where I'm going to sit there. I feel like in the next 3 or 4 weeks we can get some of the market back. And then when those GDP numbers come in, it's going to be ugly.
What do you think?
I think we're going to prove that we're in a recession right now. It's going to prove it. You know, I was watching CNBC yesterday. I couldn't believe these guys. Like, well, we don't know if we're in a recession now. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I mean,
I've already heard of businesses declaring bankruptcy already. It's like 2 weeks in.
That sounds like such an asinine statement, considering the fact that, like, it seems like every other time that we had somewhat of a downturn in the market, which led to somewhat of a recession, it wasn't forced. It was a surprise. I mean, it was like, we're forcing people to not go to work. That's the part I didn't see. Not spend money.
That's the part I didn't see.
Didn't foresee this.
I mean, who foresees that?
Bars, movie
Yesterday,
theaters.
on CNBC, somebody tried to say, well, I don't know if I'd call this a crash because it didn't happen like super quick. I was like, what? I was like, 1 month of 20, it was 30% drop in 1 month. That's not super quick to you? 30%. You remember how, that's what I love about the pundits on CNBC. Now everybody's listening to them, and they said worst case scenario, 10 or 15% drop. Come on. Guys, valuations are going to take over here. It's
like, who's buying a car today?
Funny thing is, we bought a car yesterday.
Well, besides yous.
Well, no, and by the way, you know what I said to the guy? I go, I want this deal because you're not going to get anybody to buy this car in the next month or two. I'm like, we're talking about recession here.
Who's buying a house? Who's buying a car?
I'm waiting. So our friend Mike Williams,
yeah,
he told me everything was fine until Saturday. And he's like, literally Saturday, it went dead.
What do you mean?
He's like, we started notice car sales were fine up till Friday, and then Saturday it just went dead.
I mean, I think other things people aren't thinking about is like, colleges are going to have to give a bunch of money back. Schools.
Are they going to, though? I don't think they're going to. I think that's the reason why they're doing the online schools. I think that's why they're doing the classes. They're going to be like, listen, we provided the classes for you.
Well, room and board, I mean.
I think they'd make the argument of like, guys, we couldn't foresee. What are we supposed to do about that?
And this is one of the things with talking with wedding photographers is, if I have to give money back for some strange reason, or it's going to get screwy.
I wouldn't give money back. I'd just say we'll honor it in the future date.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But
this is gonna, when people say to me there's such a thing as trickle down economics. Okay, how do we have trickle down economics on the downside but not the upside? I mean, this is gonna be trickle down economics.
Elaborate on that again.
This is gonna affect so many people all the way down the line.
I've heard my entire life from
that trickle down economics doesn't work.
It's bullshit. It's like
maybe
Reagan's.
Yep.
Trickle down economics.
All I'll say is in 1982, Reagan said things are going to be hard. It's going to be hard for a while, but we're going to come. And we had the biggest economic expansion in history for the next 20 years. Like, listen, we're going to have hard times because when you lay this many people, the fact that yesterday was the first time I heard businesses were actually declaring bankruptcy already. Not we're temporarily shutting down. We are declaring bankruptcy right now. And I look at that going, holy F. We haven't even touched this thing yet.
No.
And there's already bankruptcy.
That's scary, man.
And this is why I sit there and say, this is why I believe in surpluses during good times. Because now we had deficits during good times.
See, I can't stop thinking about that because like it just a month later, people who were just like blowing money, probably even myself, like blowing money, buying shit I didn't need. Now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I might not get paid for 3-4 months.
And listen, don't think it doesn't affect guys like me. Even though we have the money, I told my brother yesterday, I'm like, listen, we don't know what this is going to end up being. We're going to take a hit. We're still going to our business is still going to take a hit. The difference is we're going to have the cash to go revive them really well. Like our Columbus properties, we have a lot of average everyday people running from us. They're restaurant workers. I mean, we're going to take a hit. We're going to take a big hit. But the difference is we have low debt in our properties, so we're going to be able to support the debt. We have high margin because we bought right. We rehabbed right. We have these margins to go do that. That's why I always tell people, make sure you invest the right way. That way, when times like this happen, you're not going under. You're making less money, but you're not going under.
I think it would please me more, and perhaps our podcast listeners, if we can formulate like what you did into what we should be doing more. That'd be helpful.
I've done it.
I know.
Buy real estate at good prices where that way, if you put the money into them and you increase the rents and cash flow and keep the debt moderate, you'll still be able to make money, even during bad times. We could literally take a 50% hit on our collections in Columbus and still profit.
50%?
Right now, as of this very second, yes. Show me anybody else who has debt on their properties who can do that. You can't. Get out of my face. And I say that with a little bit of arrogance, saying investing is great, and investing, high risk investing works when everything's going great. But black swan events happen a lot more often than people think. People are going to call this a black swan. And I'm going to sit there and say, so wait a second, 2008 was a black swan, 2020 was a black swan. Black swans are like 1 in 1,000 events. What? Look up Black Swan event and tell me the exact definition of it. But there's supposed to be such random events that don't occur very often. We've had 2 of them in 12 years. Guys, you know what that means? People don't factor in extreme likelihood of things as often as they should. In The Big Short, those 2 young kids made a lot of money by saying everybody mispriced the random obscure events. Oh, that has a 1 in 1,000 chance of happening. No, it's more like 1 to 300. Which if you invested in enough of them, you're going to get it right and you're going to make money.
Yeah.
And I look at this saying, guys, look at us. It's funny. I told my brother the other day, I go, sometimes we talk about taking debt on, and if it wasn't for us having so much other assets and real estate and businesses that could cash flow them, I would take way less debt on even. Because we're talking about making 50% return on our real estate. Okay, we're fine making 30. 30 is still going to do great.
Yeah.
We have no debt in our real estate in Mexico. Mexico's going to take a hit, but we're still going to cash flow. We're still going to make money. I wrote an email to the entire company. No one is going to lose their job. How good do I feel about saying that?
Listen,
I wrote that email and I was just like, this makes me very proud.
I mentioned that to my family because I'm sure a lot of people are getting the opposite emails. And I said, yeah, Paul wrote an email how we should be happy and proud this happened, that we're going to make it through in flying colors. We're looking.
I didn't say we should be happy that this happened, but go ahead.
No, not happy. Happy about being in this company.
Be happy being at Crossroads Group.
Yeah.
What'd they say?
Boy, what a reassuring email is that.
Yeah, I didn't write the email. This is how I wrote the email saying, guys, no one here needs to be worried about their job. If you suck at your job, you need to be worried about your job. But if you're worried about the economy, no, you will all thrive here. What?
I don't know. It's just, that's amazing, right?
Hey, I'm happy you look at it that way because that was my intention. Go ahead, Don.
So Black Swan event is a metaphor that describes an event that comes as a surprise, a major effect, and is often inappropriately rationalized after the fact of a benefit of hindsight.
Yep, there you go. That's what this is going to be.
Repeat some of that.
It's a random big event that occurs and irrationally, it's rationalized. What was the exact word? Something rationalized, inappropriately rationalized after the event in hindsight.
In hindsight, yeah.
That's what this is going to be. Just like real estate was in 2008. Everybody blamed real estate. Okay, to me that was the last trigger.
So,
what'd your family say when you said that?
I probably took Beth by surprise, like
in a good way or a bad way?
Good way, like. Yeah, just sort of shocked, like that's the email that comes out when all the craziness is like.
No one's going to lose their job here. Literally not a soul. In fact, all I think to myself is, how do we grow? Literally, I thought to myself, we need to hire more people.
So, I think I brought up last week, like Jeff Bezos and Amazon, the greed.
Dow just fell below 20,000.
Below 20,000?
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw that news article that Amazon's hiring 100,000 people to keep up.
Yep. Amazon's going to kill it.
So when I have friends, circling back to what we started with, is when I have friends saying get ammunition, I also think that I've turned into like somewhat of a business mind. Like I look at empty shelves at Target and think, man, they're making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
People are blowing through money.
Lisa just texted me and said, oh my God, I found toilet paper. And she's stocked up. I go, you're buying into the hype. She goes, absolutely. It's become such a commodity for us that you go to the store, and I told Rosie, she went to the grocery store yesterday. She goes, hey, I see food. I'm like, buy whatever you can. Even I said that.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's more like, listen, on the off chance everybody's right, I'm going to be happy I have this food. But at the same point, it's like, this is being... Well,
speaking of, we had a fan text me and said, I'd love to hear Paul's thoughts on the hand sanitizer bandit. The guy in New Jersey who somehow had some foresight to
and then he went and wanted to charge a ton, then he ended up donating.
What do you think about that?
I
know what you think.
The guy, I mean, listen, can you blame the guy? He went and took a risk. What if it didn't work out? What everybody paid for? I mean, yeah, it seems now that he's being a jerk about it, but free markets are free markets. Do I encourage it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard. It's hard to justify that.
So they're saying that price gouging is illegal.
Yeah.
So I texted one of our fans back, John, and he said, I'd love to hear Paul's thoughts on this. Because I was like, boy, what? That seems like a pretty capitalistic type move. And I thought, gosh, price gouging is illegal. Except if you're Ticketmaster for the past 20 years.
Well, that's the thing. So my comment was going to be, well, where does price gouging start and stop? Who determines what the appropriate gouging is?
Right. If he was bulking up on hand sanitizer 6 months ago, no one would have cared.
And if he was wrong, no one would have helped him. Well, you're the idiot who went and bought 17,000 cases of hand sanitizer.
That's right.
It's hard to have those conversations because people just hear it and go, what a dick. Now, he went and took a risk. If his risk didn't work out, what was going to happen?
It didn't, right?
What was that? Well, it didn't work out because of pure social pressures.
Yeah. It is crazy, though. You have a good idea, make a bunch of money off of it, or at least try to.
It's nuts, man. This whole thing is like it worried me. And I was really proud writing that email, Seth. And I'm really proud of the fact that things are playing out as I expected, not in the sense of yes. And by the way, anybody who was arrogant who told me I was wrong and stupid, yeah, fuck you. Yeah, you deserve to get your ass handed to you. But the good people out there, no. I actually do I got emotional yesterday a little bit because the girl who watches my dogs had her hours cut in half. But you know what I did? And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, people. I'm not saying that. I immediately said to her, can you paint? Yes, I can. Great. My house needs painted. Would you like to work? Yeah. And I'm not saying it. Please don't think I'm saying it to pat myself on the back. I'm saying it because she's a good person. She does the right thing. She's never cocky. She does her job. She shows up on time. She takes care of my dogs. She loves them. She does exactly what I need her to do. I give her security codes to my house. You know what? I forget her last name. I legit don't even remember her last name. And I look at that going, she deserves my help because she was a good person all this time. And she was saving up to buy a house. I said to her yesterday, I texted her, I said, are you worried? She goes, I'm just really happy I moved back in with my parents to save up for a house.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, you're right.
That's right. Now she's going to get a house on a bargain. I'm trying to explain that to Gio. Like, all the stocks we might have wanted are on sale.
Yes. Cheaper than before. They're not on sale yet.
Well, that's the buyer in me, right? They're on sale.
Yeah.
So
they're cheaper than they were before.
So talking about how Walmart stock wasn't as affected, why would my kid, I don't know why he wants Walmart, but I said, well, we better talk to Uncle Paul about why.
I got to think it's because how do you take over Walmart? Walmart's a staple that's going to be there, and they're a low-cost provider. They're going to win during a downtime.
I'd love to see you go to the the Flipboard and talk about the strength of Walmart stock by numbers versus something like Amazon and why it's overinflated. Or
you want to do that?
Maybe next show.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the hard part about Amazon now is they're becoming a lot more technology-driven, like AWS and things like that, as opposed to Walmart. It's just all retail. But still, we can look at it.
Yeah, I mean.
And but by the way, Amazon's still only down, 15% from its peak, and the market's down 30%. That floors me. Yeah. I would have thought Amazon would be down 50%.
You've been saying for a while.
Yeah, I would have thought Amazon would be down 50%.
That's interesting.
But yeah, these are going to be tough times, people. But guess what? The tough times will lead to better times.
See, the only thing
this is why we need surpluses.
I agree with that. But so I think some people would say that there aren't people who even have a chance in this world to even get anywhere near a surplus. The kids that...
Well, that's not true.
My kids were shocked that there are children 30 minutes from this very table that have to go to school to eat.
Yeah, I know.
Like how, I mean, there are probably people in this world that are going to say like, well, Paul, you can give me all this, but like there are people who are really going to suffer really bad. They never even had a chance.
And there are very generous people out there. There are very generous people out there who are helping.
Yeah.
And this is why we need surpluses. This is why we can't overspend as a government. We have to have surpluses during good times. Imagine if we had a $200 billion surplus over the last 10 years, each year. That's $2 trillion. This problem, we write a check for $2 trillion to 110 million families. That's almost $20,000 per family. Just give it to them. Here you go.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That could have been
a possibility. That's 110. Clinton got $200 billion surpluses in the 90s on the same tax rate as today. We're just spending like crazy in this country.
What on?
Everything. You name it. And don't forget the fact that this government is so inefficient. Tell me the last time you went to a government agency and said, boy, that place ran efficiently. If we ran I remember once a liberal telling me like, why do we have to operate the government like a business? Because it's taking money and spending it. It is a business. Just like you're a business, even being a household. So if we sit there and operate on surpluses for that when these black swan events happen, the government can sit there and say, guys, great news. We saved for 10 years at $250 billion, $300 billion a year. And by the way, back in the 90s, our GDP was half what it is today, and they still managed to do that surplus. So let's say it was $400 billion all this time. We'd have $4 trillion to put. And guess what? If we had that, we wouldn't be having this corona. We wouldn't be having this.
Slow down.
I'm sorry. We wouldn't have this massive fall if we had been spending appropriately.
We would have been ready for this.
We would have been economically better off.
The United States could have gotten the Paul Gabriel Crossroads email that everything's going to be fine.
Not the Crossroads email, but at least my email didn't say everything's going to be fine. My email said, this is going to be good. You're going to flourish. But everybody will be fine? Yes. Just do the math.
I know.
Just do the fucking
normal
math.
people won't and can't. And like myself, I don't
As
even know
much
what you're
as
saying.
I don't like Bill Clinton, we had a surplus because he worked with the House that he lost. He worked with the House, balanced the budget, got a surplus with reasonable tax rates.
Do you honestly think any of this is actually going to happen?
We were 20 years ago we had it.
Yeah, I mean, you watch movies like The Big Short, you see what happened. The bailouts are going to happen, the tax the people.
And now Bernie's sitting there saying, see, it shows, and I saw something on Instagram, right? See, this proves that socialism works.
Yeah.
No.
Tell me about that.
Socialism is the reason why this capitalism stopped working. This isn't capitalism.
Say it again.
This is not capitalism.
What this?
Everything we're doing right now, government bailouts, that's not capitalism. Government bailouts are not capitalism. We went and spent like crazy, like socialist countries do, and that's why we're having this problem right now. We went and let everybody do whatever they wanted and supported them and said, hey, if you F up, we're going to write a check for it.
Okay, hold on. That's a lot of like everybody's and every's and always. Give me a second here.
I'm going to go back to my foundational point.
Go ahead, please do.
We need to operate on surpluses. We need to curtail our spending. We need to give people a reason to go get jobs. We need to have surpluses, and we need to save our money as a country. That way, when we have bad events, we can write those checks and help people out. Our debt is already at $27 trillion. It's going to go way higher. And if anybody wants to tell me that Republicans are doing anything different to curtail that, you're absolutely wrong.
Say it again.
No Republican cares about this at all. Definitely the Democrats don't, but the Republicans, they don't either.
About adding to the deficit and
no, they're just like, fine, let's do it. They don't care about actually putting us in a good economic place. They say they do. It's all words.
Mm-hmm.
You want to put us in a good economic place? Go cut spending. Frivolous spending. You're going to say, what is that? I guarantee I look at any bill and there's something in there that's absolutely stupid and useless.
Well, the left says it's the military.
Great. If you're willing to cut all your... By the way, the military, okay, that's $700 billion of our spending. That's a lot. I will say this. Would you rather have a war here or there? You tell me. I'm okay if you want to... Let's cut the military spending, but that's got to come with other spending too. We shouldn't allow people just be on welfare for extended periods of time. It's not wrong to require somebody on welfare to take a drug test. I'm sorry. That's not wrong.
Yeah,
that's not wrong at all.
When I first heard that, I know we're all over the place, but when I first, so
all these things we're doing, it goes back to how do we get to a surplus?
Yeah.
If we get to a surplus, we can handle recessions. Hey, great guys, we had a 5-year surplus. We have $2 trillion extra because we saved $400 billion a year. We're going to go put $500 billion of that into everybody's pockets to help us out of this recession. Okay. Great.
If everything you're saying is so... It's not easy.
It's not. Well, it's easy, but
if
it's
everything
not,
you're saying
it's simple,
is plausible.
It's not easy.
What country is doing this and flourishing?
Well, we did. We did for a long time.
Oh.
We did for a long time. Reagan's the one that started spending like crazy. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
Reagan's the one that started spending like crazy. And then Bush came in, and he was responding to 9/11, all this stuff, and he went and spent like crazy.
Bush. Wait.
Bush Senior. Bush Junior. Yeah. I mean, listen, we've had surplus.
We have done
back after World War II. We had tons of debt, and then GDP started to grow. We started paying it. Our percentage of debt to GDP was dropping significantly. It fell big time.
Are there countries doing it right now?
I have a hard time believing that. There aren't many truly capitalistic countries.
That's why I say, is it ever even going to... Everything you're saying, that's not going to happen, right?
Well, just because everybody's not doing it right now doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Just like Bernie says, everybody wants socialized. Great, let's talk about socialized healthcare. But you can't just do it. And my comment back is just this is the reason why we need checks and we need to have these balanced budget. Why are states required to have balanced budgets but not the government? You know, states are required to.
Did not know that.
Yeah, they have to. Is it all states? I know Ohio does. And as much as I don't like Kasich, and I think he's full of shit, he talked about one point about making a constitutional amendment where the U.S. government had to have a balanced budget.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? If they don't, Congress, guess what? You're out of a job for a while. You're not going to get paid. Go figure it out.
Man, I just have a hard time envisioning, like I said, I go back to just like Christmas and like...
You didn't see this 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Nobody could, but like,
Nobody did.
How are we operating on such a deficit when it just seems to me like, isn't it weird that nowadays like $17 for a lunch sandwich is like fairly standard?
Yeah. I remember in college, my dad getting mad at me because I used to go to this place called Amir's Deli and get a $7 lunch. He'd be like, $7 for a lunch?
I mean, isn't it commonplace that we're all paying $200 to $250 for like internet and cable?
Yeah, but look at
family of four.
You're starting to sound like an old person. Back in the day, it was
I'm just
so
saying, like
much
there's so much money.
I know.
You couldn't tell me that 2 cents out of my $200 phone bill to AT&T, like I know there's taxes, but Jesus, where the hell? Like there's just so much money flying around.
There's a lot of taxes flying around too.
Yes.
Look at our gas tank. You pay how much of that $2 you spend on gas is taxes?
I don't even know.
I would guess 50 to 70 cents of it.
No, you don't look good when you lean back like that.
A lean back. My stomach's hurting. Do I not look good, really?
Well, I mean, you're not the side angle of that Buddha belly when you lean back.
Listen, I've lost some weight, bro.
When you lean back.
I'm leaning back right now.
Why do you think I lean forward? No, when you lean back, it accentuates it.
But look at me. Like I'm saying.
I know you're very svelte.
I'm down 14 pounds, baby.
I got to sit up this way because,
Mommy Seth is...
All right.
It's tough out there. It's going to get tougher. It's going to get harder. And everybody who listens to this, who works for us, just be very happy. And you know what I'm going to tell them? Like, listen, I don't want to hear it 5 years from now when the economy is booming and you go, Paul, I found a better opportunity that pays me $1 more. Great. Have fun. Go after yourself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What other companies are operating like you?
I'm sure Berkshire Hathaway does. And I'm not trying to say we're Berkshire Hathaway, but I don't know. It's funny because...
How many companies send out that email?
Oh, I don't know. I'd be interested to find that out.
I mean, how rare of a position...
It's funny. My brother and I...
Are you in?
My brother, father, and I... Darnell and Rahman used to always joke with me and say, like, you guys don't spend like the income you have. And I say that to pat myself on the back of saying, Mikey, Dad, and I are not going to take any hit. And people would say, well, yeah, because you have money. Like, it's not just having money. We don't spend like people who make our money. Do you know what I mean? We don't spend the amount of money that most people who make our money would spend. That's why we're able to sit there and say, yeah, we're not taking a hit.
I think I've even asked you, which I'm sure multiple friends do, is like, you don't seem to like spend like you probably could. You buy used cars and...
Yeah.
I
buy used watches. You know that?
Like, I even wonder, like, what couldn't you just go out and do whatever the hell you want?
But that's the thing. I do whatever I want.
Mean, like, really, like, some people are like, really, but
I know.
Spend irresponsibly. Like,
it's about budgeting, man.
People who make far less than
I don't want to take a hit to my lifestyle.
People who make far less than you are wearing the $450 Gucci belts, the Louis Vuitton bags.
Yeah, well, listen, that's not important to me. But then again, I have a watch thing where I have tons of watches, but I buy my watches used too. That's the funny part. Like, people will be like, "You buy a used watch?" Like, yeah. When I go buy the expensive watch, I look for a used one that's barely worn. Because there are guys out there who will buy a watch, wear it 10 times, and trade it in for another one.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to buy the watch for half off. I'm fine with it. And that's my whole thing isn't to pat myself on the back. It's to sit there and say, listen.
How can we relate to this?
Everyone can be more responsible. I can be more responsible. Right?
Yeah.
I just choose for myself that I know.
Nice.
For those who didn't see or hear that, I just basically belched into the...
We're on a podcast drinking carbonated sodas.
Yeah, I love carbonated sodas. I don't ever, but But my viewpoint has changed, as I told you, over the last 20 some years, is going like, I'm very happy. This reminds me of why we're conservative.
Yeah.
And this makes me happy I didn't build my house last year. Even though I could easily afford it, I'd have felt guilty just going, oh, I'm building this, just a stupid home. And literally people are going to like be homeless or lose jobs and all this. It's just it doesn't feel right. Not that I'm sitting there saying like, oh, I have a beautiful home. Why do I need to have a bigger, beautiful home?
Yeah.
And again, I have a great lifestyle. And it's funny, probably Deb, who cleans my house for me, she's probably like thinking, listening to this going, I'm in his house all the time. The house is sweet. It's all these got the cars and yeah, it's great. But Deb, it's just, I like to live more conservatively.
Yeah.
Because I still enjoy my life very much what I'm doing. And everybody can do that. Yes, not to my level, but in their own way they can. Because remember, if you make $50,000 a year here, or 40 or 30, there are people in Bangladesh and India who make $1,000 a year. You're rich to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's all relative.
I wanted to close with
You have cell phones, you have cars, you have shoes, you have all these things.
I got a nice message last night.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, super weird question. Blank and I, my husband and I, were thinking ways to support vendors that are probably negatively impacted by this virus. Would you at any level interest in doing a lifestyle shoot for I? They moved into a new home and they basically want to hire us. If it's not worth your time, I totally understand, but I was really touched by that. People thinking like, now's the time to invest in small businesses, and
That's the right thing.
that was a nice message to get.
Yeah, that's very nice.
So it's like, hell yeah. I mean, she mentioned a rate that's most likely far below what I would normally do, but I get pretty passionate about my work. I really like working for people who really like me. It's almost like that's after all the money's said and done, it comes in and goes out so fast. I just like working for people who like me. And
So you're going to do it?
yeah, it just feels good. Sure.
Good.
I'd love to. It'd be great. Cute little session. That's what I love doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I really felt sad about that. What you just said about the, like 10 minutes ago, about there are kids who literally rely on school to get fed.
I tell Gio, because at times he'll just not eat his lunch because he doesn't like the way it tastes or something. And I'm just like, we have to like take the food and throw it, it's like old sandwiches. And I'm just like, dude, I'll drive you there right now. Let's go take a look at what people are living like, and it's crazy, man.
How is it with the kids at home now?
Well, so my wife was a teacher, so we have it easy.
Is she teaching them?
Oh, she puts up like today's agenda with like check boxes of what they need to do.
Those poor kids. Every other kid's just like playing video games, and Gio and Hank are like, all right.
So, but we have like dedicated like push-up time and PE, where we get out and do some stuff. So, yeah, she just jumps right back into this. I'm also trying to devise ways where I can help. Like, I know we're supposed to separate from each other, but I'm like, hey, if you have a kid and you need help, I mean, bring them over to our house. I don't know. Like,
is anybody taking you up on that?
I haven't quite done it yet. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to help. I don't know if we're supposed to get our kids together or not. I'd be like, people are saying no. Like, we probably shouldn't be sitting here doing this, right? Is this essential? That's what the doctor has to. The state officials are saying, if it's not essential, don't do it. So
I think the people need to hear from us. It's essential.
Well,
that was a pretty arrogant statement. No, I'm just kidding.
That's why we're doing it, right? I thought.
Are you 6 feet apart?
No.
No, about 4 feet apart.
Is that what it is? Is 6 feet?
6 feet. What if we did the podcast from 2 different rooms? I was like, we should
What if we just put a big glass right in between us?
Yes.
It's like prison. We can just be like this.
put my nipples on the, on the
Oh,
glass.
Billy.
All right, y'all.
This is gonna be harder, guys. It's gonna get tough. Just save your money when you can, and
That's it, right?
I mean, as much as that perpetuates the whole recession, it's just you got to do it. And we will be better off in the future. You will be better off in the future if you tough it out, and the government will be there to help you. I have no problem saying the government's there to help you if we had surplus along the way. God damn it! It drives me nuts.
Does it really though? You'll be fine.
Yeah, I know, but it still drives me nuts that it's such a simple solution. It really is simple.
Really?
All they do is say, okay, we're not going to have the ego anymore. And if Congress people were penalized for not being and not have a balanced budget and a surplus, we'd have it done in 2 seconds. We'd have it done in 2 seconds.
it's hilarious that I always bring up on the show that I find that not an excuse, but you always bring up the where is this going to stop?
Yep.
Where does this stop? And coming from a recovering liberal is like I found like when gay marriage was an issue, people on the right were saying, when's this going to stop? What are you going to let people marry their dogs, marry their sisters? People would say that.
I know.
So when you talk about
so stupid,
when you talk about taxes, you say, where is this going to stop?
The difference
Hold
is,
on a minute. So you talk about where is this going to stop? It seems like it's just or guns, right? If we limit guns, well, wait a minute, where are they going to stop? It's going to come all the way down to our guns.
That's not the issue.
But hold on a second. But the point when it's all said and done is all these where it's going to stop people is like now in the past month, we very well might be moving to a full shutdown of everything. You've heard this, right?
Yeah.
Which would be, I don't even know how that works. But I'm talking like it's everything. It's like everything but a hospital, a pharmacy, and cops maybe. Or
even restaurants are saying that.
What's left actually now? What's left? When gas stations go down?
They're saying gas stations would
where
stay
do people
open.
get food for supermarkets?
I don't know.
I mean, our freedoms have been quote unquote freedoms have been reduced down to like there's nothing to do. I don't even know what the term martial law is. That's been throwing around too. And it's just like, it's amazing. Like, well, actually, my point is you bring up a lot of like, where is this going to stop? And it seems like it's going to keep going and going to like this extreme that no one could ever even envision. And it's scary. I mean, like where is this going to stop?
So can I make two comments?
Because in China, they're like literally like they have cameras in the streets. You can't walk out of your home. They have speakers. Do you see this? They set up speakers in streets so they can talk to people.
Seriously?
Monitoring cameras. If you leave your house, like get back in there or the cops are coming, basically. So like, tell me, what are your thoughts?
This was an extreme situation, and I understand to a certain level, as a libertarian as I am, I understand to a certain level saying, listen, this is a health crisis, potentially.
Yeah.
We need to contain this thing right now. Because even at 2%, if everybody in the country got it, that's 7 million people dying. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Secondly, where does it stop? When I talk about taxes, we've seen 92% taxes. We've never seen it okay to go marry a hippopotamus. We haven't had in the past. Like, I'm sitting there saying, where does it stop? Because I'm scared about where it will stop.
Yeah.
2, the guns issue isn't where will it stop. It's, hey, this is a Second Amendment. And the liberals all claim we love the Constitution, except for this part right here. We don't like this part.
That's true.
Okay. I'm okay getting rid of the Second Amendment. But then you got to be open to other parts being changed too. Mm-hmm. Where else do we stop that? That's the issue. I don't like guns. I'm not comfortable around guns. I think it's okay to require people who have guns from I don't know. I just look at it and saying, I get the argument of like, well, yeah, that was put into place because we were worried about the King of England coming in and taking our, got it. But the second we take away that,
I didn't want to open up a gun debate.
I got it.
Let's get back to
the whole point I'm trying to make is when people tell me this is capitalistic, it's not because of things we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting there. Where does it stop? It's not going to stop.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop. And they're going to make sure this thing gets shut down. And their comments are going to be like, we'd rather enter a really deep recession than lose a couple million people to death.
It will be interesting to see. I saw some quote, that said something like, the fact that everyone can now work from home just proves that we could have all been working from home.
Yeah. Listen.
It'd be interesting to see how many companies say, you know what? We don't need that building and that thing and that this and put people on part-time.
I still like having people in the office because I feel like at home there's more distractions.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, for sure.
Can we see where the market is right now?
Please do.
The Dow is up 154. S&P is up 60. Wow, S&P is up 2.5%. So something the Dow must be really down a lot.
Thank you for watching this far in the show. Please tell your friends about it. I don't think Paul and I will ever make a single cent off this show for the history of its run.
You don't think so?
We're literally doing this out of the kindness of our heart and have been for a year and a half now. And we think we're bringing you pretty good thoughts about investing, and so one day we'd love to see like a bunch of subscribers. So I
please subscribe.
We need all the help we can get. If they've listened this far, Paul, I would be amazed if they're not subscribed. But we really need our friends telling our friends to get this thing going, because there are so many dickheads out there that have 50 million followers. I'd like these two dickheads to have 50 million followers. Can't we be those dickheads, Paul?
This is interesting.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe below. Learn from us.
Thanks for having us, Seth.
You're welcome, Paul. I know I put all this together, so.
You did.
Yeah, you did. All right. Thanks.
Peace.
See you, man.